This episode is sponsored by Supreme of the UK. Click the link in the description and support the podcast.
I always love to start with combat sports, following in from last week's show. And where do I start on this one? So
I know.
we ended the show talking about Sean O'Malley versus Aljamain Sterling, and I stayed up, Noble. As you know, actually, because I messaged you messaged me, I messaged you. I stayed up. And to be honest, I wasn't going to stay up because based on the analysis of the professionals,
Yes.
I was thinking, it's more or less a full gone conclusion. So I'm thinking, okay, in spots, Sean O'Malley may have success. Every fighter's got what you call a puncher's chance in boxing, meaning something crazy can happen. But for the most part, 95% of the people that I were watching were saying Aljamain should have this in the bag. Now, I watched round one. I couldn't really say who won that round. There was success on both sides, but Aljamain was pushing the fight.
Yeah.
When it went into round two, I could see that Aljamain was trying too hard. He was rushing in too much, and with a counter puncher like Sean O'Malley, who's got very good footwork and he knows everything that's happening. So if you look, it's almost like he was lining him up for that counter. So when Aljamain rushed in, and what O'Malley did was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. But that counter, it was timed perfectly. Now, when I seen that go down, first of all, congrats to Sean O'Malley for becoming a champion. But when I seen that, I said, why did Sterling go against his game plan? This is the problem with so much fighters. And you know what? We can actually equate this to the real world. When I say the real world, to the working world and outside of the cage, where people try to play in to the crowd. Now, I feel like Aljamain, whether the fans think you're a boring fighter, whether the fans think, whether you don't sell pay-per-view, whether you think the company are against you, if you're the best wrestler and you win fights based off of wrestling, don't let no one take you off your game plan. Aljamain came off his game plan and tried to almost have a firefight with a firefighter. And O'Malley, I knew this before it was even announced, the fight, that O'Malley was one of the best strikers in the UFC. He's listed as one of the best. So when I'm looking at how he's caught other man when they're rushing and all that, I'm thinking, why would my man even try and stand with him? So the only thing I think is Aljamain underestimated Sean O'Malley. But that's a dangerous thing to do because in the position that Aljamain was sitting in, there's nothing they could do. There's nothing UFC could do unless he lost the belt. Now he's lost the belt. It's going to be a long road back, Noble. What are you saying?
You're right. You're right in so much of what you said. First round was very competitive. I think based upon the aggressiveness of Aljo, and I'm sure on the judges' scorecards, he actually got the nod for that first round. But as you say, his game plan is not to stand with people. It really isn't. I mean, especially with the danger that Sean brings. He does have power, man. He's big, man. He's big. They say that Aljo's big for the weight class. Sean O'Malley's also very big for the weight class. But the difference is the skill, the different types of skills. Sean is a striker, so he is gonna potentially have the knockout power and the ability to find those openings, whereas a wrestler, a grappler, they may have knockout power and they may fall in love with it after they may get one or two knockouts, but generally they're going to stick to what they know, the game plan. What's the game plan? To get in close, to do a single a double, run the pipe and all that kind of, get that person to the ground. And as Aljo does so beautifully, transition to the back, and then it's a wrap. That's what the expectation was. But the pressure, I think, and we built about this offline, the pressure of the moment. I don't think he necessarily underestimated Sean O'Malley. I don't think not in its entirety. I think he did think, well, as soon as it hits the ground, game over. That's with the majority of that division when it comes to fighting Aljamain Sterling. I don't think he underestimated in regards to his striking ability. I think, yeah, as I say, I think he just wanted to make it as exciting as possible, even though he's not in boring fights. This is why this is very oxymoronic. He's not in boring fights. He's not, especially since he's been going on this run. He went on a run beating Brett Johns, Cody Stamen, Jimmy Rivera, Pedro Munoz, Cody Stamen. He became champion from an illegal knee, which the first round he came out whopping. He was just going for it and blew himself out, man. It wasn't the best performance. Came back with the rematch, beat convincingly Peter Yan. Cancelled bout. Listen, he's beat him again. He's beat flipping TJ Dillashaw, who people were saying was the GOAT, was the baddest man. Yeah, and TJ was indeed a very, very talented fighter. It's just that he messed his legacy up by doing EPO, getting busted for it, and then comes back with a shoulder injury. And come on, man. And tries to fight a champion in Aljamain Sterling and gets boss up. He then fights Henry Cejudo, 2-division champion, Olympic champion. Split decision victory? I don't know why it was a split decision. It should have been a unanimous decision because they didn't want Aljo to be the champion. So he's thinking to himself, okay, and again, I'm saying that none of these fights were boring. None of these fights were boring. He's thinking, let me strike a bit more. If I can just take him out in a TKO, because I said, look, it's possible if he can get the back mounts, he'll pound him out, man, and get him out of it, or he could submit. So I guess in his mind, he's thinking, if I'm more on the feet, maybe I can catch him, stumble him, and really take him out. So that will catapult me straight into Volkanovski, moving up to the 145 and challenging for the double champ status. That's the only logical reason I can think Aljo wasn't like, yeah, let me duck under that thing and let me grab your butt. Here's the big butt before you jump in. Sean O'Malley's footwork was out of this flipping world. He was so elusive that because when Aljo normally presses you and cuts the cage off, not follows as some people do incorrectly, but he's cutting the cage off. Most people are cut off, so then you're forced to either throw a kick, which he'll catch, to trade with him a little bit, and he'll duck under, as I say, and get the takedown. Sean was like, no, don't be silly. You ain't doing that to me. I'm moving. I've got lateral movement going. I'm dancing. I'm dancing on ice with the stars, and I'm busting your ass up. And unfortunately, congratulations to the weirdo. I rate his capabilities. I rate his capabilities, Mark, but outside of the cage, I ain't feeling it still.
I hear ya. But I hear ya. But one thing I will say though, O'Malley's a star. O'Malley's a star. I hear you because I hear he does all that open relationship, all that stuff. I know he's into bag of things, but man's a star, man.
He's a cock.
Yeah, he's a cock. Is that what he's called?
Yeah, man, he's cocking and all kind of thing, boss. He's doing some very and for him being such a young man as well, I thought it would have been the opposite, and he would have been a lot more kind of manly in that respect. It's weird, man, but each to their own. As long as it's consenting people, them doing what they're doing,
then do what they do, innit? Trust me.
Yeah, man.
And then even while it is, look, we'll end this little piece here. I'll say Sterling hopefully he gets another shot, but I think it won't be an easy road back. I think they'll give him, I mean, anything can happen in a fight, but they're going to give him hard fights back. But really, he should have got an automatic rematch like what Usman did. I think he should have got an auto rematch like what Usman did. But what were they saying? They were saying he didn't get the automatic rematch because it was a stoppage.
That's bullshit.
That's what they were saying, because they were saying that the Usman Leon was competitive until the stoppage. Something like that.
But wait a minute,
like
but Mark, come on. You have said, and I have just said, the first round was very, very competitive. And again, I'm sure, I won't even say it's true, I'm sure on the judges' scorecards, Aljo got the first round. So where was it not competitive? It was only not competitive until he lunged in, as you said, very recklessly, on my ads. No disrespect to the former champ. And he got caught. And, you know, he got thumped up with some heavy blows. He rolled over. And I was thinking, okay, let's see what happens. The referee's surely not going to stop this. I mean, he's not literally just unconscious on the floor. He is what they call intelligently defending himself. This is a 5-round championship bout for all of the damn marbles. Why on earth would the referee say, you know what, Aljo, you know, he does take a lot of punishment in his bouts. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. No, he doesn't. Let's save his career because I don't want him to take all of this punishment. Nah. That's not even the scenario. The scenario is Aldo don't take punishment. He got knocked out, and we interviewed him very shortly after Marlon Moraes. That was way back in the day. Well before he went on his thing. So why are we stopping it so quick? Now, let me play righteous advocate. Now, let's say he didn't stop it directly then, and he rolled to his knees, and then Sean continued to lay the smack down, and Aljo would have went for a single leg or something. At that point, if it looked futile, then I'm saying just, you know what I mean? Of course, stop it, man. There's a lot of times I'll say, yo, ref, what you doing? Herb, especially yo, Herb, what you doing? Mr. Dean, the dude is out or the woman's out. This is not competitive. You need to stop this thing. In no shape or form or fashion, that should have been stopped. They should have made him go, as you say, and as they say, go out on your shield, man. Aldo should have been left looking up at the lights and someone waking him up.
Yeah. No, I hear ya. Well, hopefully they run it back, Noble. Hopefully they run it back. So